KNAC.com, the loudest.com on the planet. Thanks for joining us again. We are talking today with Stefano Franceschini, bassist for Hideous Divinity out of Italy. The definition of extreme metal. You guys push the limits, it seems, with every album. And you guys have only been really around just prior to your debut in 2012, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And man, it just seems like with every record, you guys just get more and more intense and more a polished sound.
Thanks, man.
And we're here to talk about this new EP that you guys have just released, LV 426. And for the science fiction geeks out there, that might ring a bell to you. But for those that aren't aware, tell us a little bit about that title that you put down.
Right. So LV46, like you said, probably does ring a lot of bells to sci-fi fans like um, aficionados. It's basically all about Aliens, the second movie of the Alien franchise. And LV46, if I'm not mistaken, is actually the name of the planetoid where like the most of the action in the movie takes place. So that's why we wanted to like title the EP the way that we did. And so yeah, it's just cool because I think aliens. I mean, in our like collective, I'd say imagery. Of course, Alien probably is the one that we all kind of know, and of course the xenomorph and all that kind of stuff. But Aliens, like plot wise, story wise, it's so 80s. Like it's action packed. The story is cool. It's got a lot of sub narratives as well, and yeah, I mean Cameron did actually an amazing job, and also the music, which was kind of the starting point for the whole EP thing to fully develop in the freestyle work that we just put out. So
Yeah, James Cameron is a phenomenal a director, screenwriter. I don't know how many titles he holds, but Terminator, Terminator Two,
oh,
just to
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
just to name a few. But yeah, the Aliens franchise is really probably one of my favorites as
Titanic.
well. Titanic, yeah. Oh my God, don't even get me started. It's one of those like it comes if it comes on TV, like my whole day's fucked because I'm gonna be sitting there watching it.
Yeah, I mean, like it seems like everyone's hating on that movie, but let's face it, it's kind of our secret guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm
it
not gonna
is.
say it's oh my god, it's one of the best movies I ever watched, but like you said, if it's on TV, like I'm gonna watch it, especially the scene when the like ship hits the iceberg. I think it's kind
Fuck.
of got a real good impact, and
Totally.
then of course it's all about the love story and all that kind of stuff. But I agree with you on that.
Yeah. See, people, metalheads, we're soft sometimes too. We'll sit and
Yeah,
watch,
exactly.
Titanic with you.
Not really credible.
Uh, but going back to aliens now, now some of the focus it's on the little girl that was discovered there. She was like the last survivor of the colony there. She went by the name of Newt, and the premise of this EP that you put out revolves around her, right? Like, how did you guys come to this decision to, bring her story, or at least make up a
Right.
story about her?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think we wanted to bring to the fore a new story because in a way it kind of both metaphorically and also narratively represent what we kind of went through last year and we're still kind of going through with the whole pandemic situation. And like this new story is basically about childhood's hand, the actual sharing of our dreams, and the fact that the realization that monsters are real. So now, of course, in the movie, they're legit aliens, xenomorphs, and all that kind of stuff. But and here, I think I like to think that I'm not the only one actually thinking this way. When the whole COVID situation like hit us, uh, we kind of first really didn't take it too seriously. At least I didn't. I thought, okay, maybe it's just like SARS and the the last, like the most recent epidemics, which were
Mm-hmm.
not fortunately, like evolved into pandemics because they were kind of geographically localized, and they didn't spread as, like as bad as COVID did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like everything shut down. Like most of the most countries in the world were actually in a lockdown. The virus did kill a lot of people, so
Mm-hmm.
it was actually a living nightmare. It was surreal, like uh, kind of almost dystopic in a way. So it was really abrupt, and I think Enrico, the guitar player Enrico Scatino, when he came up with the concept, I think he tried to bridge the two things. So the story world of aliens with our really mundane current reality, and
Mm-hmm.
also of course trying to musically express that kind of link. So yeah, I think that was the main reason we wanted to focus on that story because of course we had the little girl,
Mm-hmm.
and going through all this trauma, and trying to, like I said again, symbolically make it parallel with what we went and still going through.
I hear what you're saying. I remember, I don't know if it was an ideology. I guess if we can talk about like Prometheus, I don't know how you felt about that album, but they kind of interpreted it as saying that this was like some sort of, I guess we'll say disease or something, that they were looking to conquer colonies and planets, and they were like on their way to Earth, I believe,
Yeah,
and
of course.
they were trying to, and they were basically just trying to just take over and kill everything that wasn't a xenomorph. So yeah, I could see how the relationship between that
Exactly.
and this whole COVID thing, and just yeah, man, when this thing hit, it really impacted the world, and I think, I don't know if you'll agree, but in our generation, in our experience, this is like pretty scary, and at the same time, it's a big
Dude, of
what the fuck
course.
moment. It was a big what the
Yeah,
fuck moment.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's gonna stay with us for a while,
yeah,
like for a very long while. I mean, we definitely seems like we've actually seen the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's still gonna stay with us at least, like in
another
our
year,
memories.
another
And
year probably.
yeah, and it all happened like what, within 3 4 weeks, because all of a sudden like all travel stopped, tour stopped, the whole entertainment industry, and of course like also the food industry kind of came to a really serious halt. And but it was all within like 2 3 4 weeks at the longest. So it was really sudden, and we nobody was actually expecting that.
Yeah.
And we were actually touring in the U.S. when we started to see more and more alarming articles and news all of the like the papers and TV channels and TV news and all kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
I was still thinking, okay, maybe people are still like taking it, like they were overreacting. Maybe
Hmm.
it was kind of the most optimistic side, like my personality, kind of thinking that way. But of course, by the time we got back to Italy
Hmm.
and we saw, the airports like kind of deserted, like no one was there. Like I said, it all looked like one of those movies, and like
Hmm. Like
I'm
28 days
Legend, for
later or
example.
something.
Exactly. We could name like a bunch of them.
Right. Of
But it
course.
was real.
Hmm.
That's why that's why it was scary.
Yeah.
And after like a week, but mid March, it was
Mm.
obvious what we were actually facing,
Yeah.
and we still made mistakes. But I think now with the whole like vaccination programs being implemented, especially in the U.S., like you guys are doing a really great job, and we're still like a little bit far back with the whole plan here in Italy. But I want to think that by the end of the year, if not maybe a little bit earlier, we'll maybe start going back to some sort of normalcy. We'll see.
Hmm. I will be probably one of the few that say I don't want things to go back to normal. I live like in Los Angeles, heavily populated area, and I hate traffic. I hate people. I'm sorry.
Oh, you,
It's
yeah,
just
tell me
so
about it.
it's so brutal, man.
No,
And
I get it. I understand. Like, um, the first time when there were like the very first reopenings, and I mean, probably Roman traffic doesn't really compare too well to like LA's, because
mhm.
I've been there like two, three times, and LA is such a massive city, and there's actually like, a lot of traffic, so I can't even imagine what it's like to live there. But
Yeah.
as I was saying,
Hmm, hmm.
I definitely noticed uh, fewer cars, and like the thing that we Romans here in Italy might actually kill for, parking lots, parking spaces. There were a lot of them. So I'd actually seen all these free spots. I was like, whoa, that's like that's magic. I like this. So I don't really like you were saying. I don't really know if I want things to go back to normal,
Yeah.
but maybe half normal. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, half normal, and but
Okay.
but going back real quick, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. So you guys were in the midst of touring, or you guys had just wrapped up touring, like, because when this whole bullshit started to come down on us, it was about mid-March, and you guys were touring the States around that time.
We actually just got back.
Okay.
Like I said, we toured the like whole February. We started, I
Okay.
think, February the 4th in San Diego, and finished the tour 28th, and actually in Los Angeles. So
Okay. All right on.
and we got back March the 1st, or sometime around that.
Hmm.
But already like halfway, through the tour, at least from Italy, we definitely were reading a lot of alarming news about it. The COVID was already a thing.
Hmm.
We just like thought that it might be contained, even kind, like even well, but we didn't. And so yeah, we were still touring, but everything like felt normal. We
Hmm.
were just like thinking, because Vader, Vader had a European tour like a couple of months after the US tour. Same as us, actually, because we were supposed to go on a tour in Europe, direct support to Terrorizer.
Yeah.
And we were kind of, like thinking, oh, I wonder the tour still happened.
Right.
But that was the worst we could think of, because
Okay.
we had no idea uh, what we could expect from that. And so yeah, we're still touring, and probably I would say ours were kind of the very last shows. I know that Origin and Defeated Sanity had kind of started a tour, but it got canceled like after a week, because it was already like first first couple of weeks in March when everything like stopped. I think it was when United States like kind of uh, interrupted like all flights from Europe, I think.
Hmm.
And so like all the defeated center, the Germans, so they had to go back, and of course like all venues started closing. But yeah, so we were still relatively safe,
Hmm.
and no one was really too scared about it. So
And the fortunate thing is like you guys at least had a chance to tour, because right around the time that there was just a whisper, a talk of this COVID bullshit, like you guys had just released Simulacrum. You guys had just released that in like towards the end of 2019, when it was this whole
exactly
thing was just
right.
starting to come to a head. And so that's good that you guys were able to at least promote that
Oh,
album and stuff.
absolutely.
Yeah.
With hindsight, I'm definitely grateful we managed to do that.
Yeah, and this is gonna be an important lesson, because like here in Los Angeles, I happen to have missed you guys, and I don't know what I had going on that day or what, but go catch. Talking to the listeners here, it's like go catch your favorite bands, because you never know when some bullshit's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to wait a year or two before you see them again, or you might not even see them again, because there's probably been a handful of bands that they just called it quits, you know.
Preach, preach. I mean, like, I couldn't have said that better, and I'm definitely not gonna take anything anymore for granted.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, exactly.
it was so weird, but yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, like I was kind of saying this, and it hurts to say now, but we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just reality. It was true before, and it's even more true right now. So
Yeah. The good thing is we had like great albums like yours. It helped get a lot of people through the the dark days and stuff like that. Because well, that's what
yeah,
we were doing. We were sitting at home and listening to music and watching stupid TV shows and you
exactly.
know and watching great movies like Aliens. And let's swing back now to LV426. Now this 3-song EP that you guys put out. You guys put out this fucking intense. I mean, you guys actually have put out quite a few intense music videos, but this last one that you put out, Chestburst, as it applies to
Right.
the theme of aliens, the whole animation. Now, I noticed there's like some hieroglyphics and some symbols, like all throughout the video. The video, is there some sort of meaning to that?
I think I wouldn't be the most appropriate person to answer that question
Yeah.
because it was all our main artist's work,
Mhm.
Vladimir Shebakov, who actually took care of our last two covers from our last two albums, Advenience and Simulacrum.
Mhm.
So we asked him about turning the angel, the main figure, which you can see in both Venus and Simulacrum indeed, to turn him into this chestburst kind of victim.
Hmm.
And he wanted to depict it, the figure, the character lying on an altar. So I think maybe to try and give some kind of, I don't know, like ancient vibes, and it just added the symbols. I think they definitely got some meanings, but I should ask him because when he returned, when he got back to us with the final draft of the design, I would say we were kind of puzzled, like, okay, what did this really represent? But I think it's all esoteric shit. So,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't really know exactly what they
Mhm.
would mean. So I think it was mainly to just give more of a like Prometheus and then
Great.
like everything dating back to so long ago, and so I think to give it a little more of an austere, like ancient kind of vibe and look to the whole thing. So
Mhm. Yeah, and again, the theme behind this EP is a reflection of James Cameron's Aliens. You guys seem to have some sort of theme with like science fiction in a lot of your music, or at least lyrics. Is that like on purpose? Is that what you're driving
that
towards?
yeah, that is true. I mean, we're all like movie nerds, but
Right on.
especially Enrico, the guitar player, who's basically like the concept mastermind of the band and main songwriter.
Hmm.
Um, so he always wanted to uh, kind of come up with a concept that might blend in really well with the movie of some kind of significance. So
Hmm.
just to go back to, for example, like Obeisance Rising, it's all about Do You Live? And the one after that, the Cobra Verde, is named after the movie, the same title, same name. And with Convenience, like things start to get a little more complicated because we try to fictionally kind of blend philosophical concept, the concept of the simulacrum, as it was devised by Plato, the philosopher back, in the past, but also later repurposed, rethought, and reimagined by this French philosopher Gilles Deleuze, which wrote a very important dissertation on the concept of difference and repetition. I'm not going to get like into detail because that would take probably like 30 days just to try and explain what that work is about. But
Hmm.
let me just say that it's about like how we usually focus more on identities per se rather than on differences. So that simulacrum, sorry, yeah, exactly, simulacrum. We combine that with Lost Highways by
David Lynch.
Lynch. Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
sorry. I just and the one after, before that, at Venus, we it was again like um, kind of a crossing in between Walter Benjamin's, this German philosopher, concept of the uh, like the loss of the aura of artistic aesthetic objects in the era of like technical reproduction. So basically, he said that modern day, the fact that you could just purchase like a I don't know, like a print of an old painting, or the same like copy of a movie, with the VHS or tapes, it kind of made the original art kind of lose impact.
Mm-hmm.
And we mixed that with Videodrome, the movie
Mm.
by Cronenberg, of course. So yeah, we have this kind of cinematic trend, and with the EP formula, we just thought maybe it's not really the right like venue to come up with too articulate, too elaborate stuff. So let's just focus on one of the most popular like movies that we actually like, and sci-fi. Uh, it also, like, of course, combines pretty
Mm-hmm.
well with darkness, of course, with the whole outer space concept and themes.
Mm-hmm.
And so horror, darkness, heaviness, obscurity, and sci-fi,
Mm-hmm.
and the equation was quite simple, of course. And Alien was kind of a safe choice, but like I said, we just didn't want to. Oh, okay, here's a xenomorph, and let's talk about xenomorph
Mm-hmm.
and how ugly they are, how scary they are, and of course they're amazing creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to explore, venture towards something slightly off the main, like horror concept, which is
Mm-hmm.
of course that is the monster.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still try to tell a story within like a more popular, like easier to grasp kind of concept.
Yeah, yeah. The symbolism with a lot of science fiction movies, I think, it's one of those. Art imitates life. And it's scary sometimes how accurate,
Exactly, you
or there's
said
like
it.
the
Yeah.
hidden message. Alluding to like how our civilization is. Sorry to sound so pessimistic, but how our civilization, humanity is kind of
Dude, I'm a
fucked in a
huge
way.
Absolutely, I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, and he was definitely one of the most like cynic and pessimistic writers out there. So I'm all about that.
Mm,
Like, humanity is scum basically, and we're like kind of pressing the accelerator towards extinction
right.
if we
Yeah.
don't like start acting differently. So
Yeah.
I agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
Not all of us as a whole. I mean, I know there's a lot of us that we're trying to do our part
No,
to.
no, of course I
But
meant like mankind
but yeah, like
as a
the
whole.
ones. Yeah. I mean, we can get into like the whole idea of like who we believe or the button pushers and trying to you know flush us down the toilet faster and just for their own personal gain. But anyways, we're deviating from the point here. The point here is we're talking with Stefano Franceschini, bassist for Hideous Divinity, straight out of Italy. They're talking about their newest three-song EP, LV426. And why did you guys make the decision of releasing a three-song EP?
Um, yeah, I mean, let's face it, I think like most of the musicians out there, we were kind of getting real bored with COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, tours were not and still not happening. Fortunately, just for a little longer, but what we were writing these songs, of course, tours were too far of a kind of a perspective. So we just wanted to exploit as creatively as possible the whole like COVID platitude. So what better way to just release some new music
Mm-hmm.
and give the fans like the chance that to actually uh, listen to some new material, but at the same time, we didn't want to spoil them too much with full length. Like you said, it would have been kind of too soon because we released Simulacrum November 2019,
Mm-hmm.
so it would have been a little bit too soon. Plus, we didn't really have too much material to like for a full
Oh,
length.
okay. All
So
right.
it was actually like um, the perfect compromise, I would say.
Yeah. But
And we definitely wanted to release some new stuff, and it all kind of started from like a date, like more of a joke kind of thing, because
Mm.
Enrico wanted to write a song
Mm-hmm.
and posted it kind of, I think, as a teaser for a date in December or January, as a way to celebrate this important date within the Alien movie. I don't remember exactly the precise date, the specific date, but it was a way to, like all the bands right now are kind of, exploiting the throwback thing, the Honda's Day, this happened, blah blah,
Yeah.
or the whole anniversary trend, because that's exactly what we can do right now.
Yeah.
We can play shows, and what better occasion than this one to just try and revisit some important dates, some anniversary, and that kind of stuff. So Rico saw this as an opportunity to release and promote new music, and but instead of just the one song, the whole thing turned into an EP. So it's 16, 17 minutes worth of music, which is kind of a nice format if you think about it. Like people can actually like listen to it in one sitting, and it's kind of like a short story compared to a novel. Like people right now are like
Mm-hmm.
so busy and they're literally invested with so much music.
Mm-hmm.
So we just wanted to uh, add a little bit to the noise, like in a metaphorical way that surrounds us, but without like providing them with too much stuff to digest. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't want to blow your full load yet. You gotta
Exactly.
ease it in. Yeah. Because then you'd have the frustration and the eagerness and the anxiety set in from really you put out a whole new album and you can't tour on it, and that's what it's
Absolutely.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel I feel bad for. I mean, I highly appreciate that bands put out full albums. Like I have talked to a few bands, and they've just recently, for the purpose of releasing new albums, and that's great because for a variety of reasons. But like I hear what you're saying. Like you just wanna. There's no point in just going full blast, and like you said, you guys still have a lot more material that you need to work on for that.
A
But
100% agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
but and
exactly.
then I mean, the Simulacrum was just released in 2019. A lot of bands get into the habit of releasing albums year after year after year, and it's like, oh, it's cool and everything, but I'm a fan of the type of bands that like I'm a fan of all type of bands, but where there's a couple of years between releases, 2 or 3 years, and that
Oh,
way,
exactly. They kind of make you wait, like savor,
yeah, the
like the
anticipation.
actual. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with you.
and
And
and and then
yeah.
go on tour a couple of times. You tour Europe for a few months and sit on it, and then you tour the States for a little while, sit on it, then maybe you do a whole world tour and sit on it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And plus, you suggested you don't want to oversaturate the market. You can just
Hmm.
constantly be releasing albums after albums. We know like our made in the '80s, they could afford that, and they
Hmm.
were right doing that. They released like 5 albums like yearly, and but it's totally different right now because
Hmm.
like you said, when you release an album, usually you can do like two, maybe three tours out of that,
Right.
and maybe festivals, at
Hmm.
least in
Yeah.
Europe. But after that, you gotta like explore different markets, the different parts of the world. Otherwise, you can't just. I mean, the U.S. Don't get me wrong, is a great place. Probably my favorite place to tour. But and as big as it is, there's only like so many shows that you can play,
Yeah.
and you don't want to like play 3 times in front of the same people because
Right.
those people are rightly so, like entitled to be bored and maybe not wanting to go see you the next time you're around. So better to just like tour like a city, a country, like a place in general,
Hmm.
every other year. So you don't like always play the same songs and like I said, like oversaturate the whole market, like touring market. And you also want people to actually like wait for
Hmm.
the new music to come out and be released. So yeah.
Yeah, and we're fortunate here in the States, especially out here in Los Angeles. Is like, a lot of shows come through here,
Oh
and
yeah.
The farthest we probably would have to go for a show is an hour. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I personally don't mind driving a couple of hours or 6 hours to go see a concert. You know,
that's cool, man.
just for the sake of the experience of going far and out of the city to go check out a concert, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
part of the experience. Where like people in Europe, I mean, they spend a whole day or a whole weekend trying to get to a concert, and or like the festivals that I keep hearing that are amazing, and I hope to catch one of these days, and you
They're
know that
massive.
yeah, the market is a lot bigger than the states, so I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
festival wise, I would say so.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about LV426. Now, you also put out a lyrical video, Acheron, Stream of Woe.
Yeah, Acheron
And
Stream
now,
of Woe, yeah.
going back to the focus on Newt, the little girl from Aliens. It was kind of her telling a story, right?
Exactly, because at some point in the lyric video, you can actually read and hear the lyrics. And mommy always said there were no monsters,
Monsters, but there
but
are.
there are. So yeah, exactly. It's all real,
Hmm.
and so I think I would say musically, Acheron is definitely the most representative song of the EP. Chestburst is kind of the straightforward, like in your face death metal kind of song. The
Hmm.
4 minute short song that you listen to, Headbang 2, kind of simpler structure wise, type signature wise. While Acheron is actually the I would say cinematic opera
Hmm.
kind of song, because you got this definitely the most progressive
Hmm.
of the EP. I'm also including the cover, which maybe we'll talk about later. But so yeah, I would say the first one with the intro. So you get this really dark, eerie soundscape, right? So with the toms, the percussions, and the synths and all that kind of the effects, the bells, and then comes the song, which later changes into something definitely more melodic that we used to, like we used to do, and it goes back to the frenzy, like the very fast pace of the main riff in the first couple of minutes of the song, and then it ends with this, like I like kind of describing the music. It's always kind of a hard job to put into words where you actually listen to, because of course like everyone gets uh, their different opinions, but it finishes with this kind of crescendo, in which I think it's a perfect conclusion for the song. So I would say
Hmm.
yes, Acheron definitely, on a thematic and conceptual level, is definitely a new story, and musically it's probably like the beacon, the like I said, the most representing song of the EP.
Now the third track on here. Now you guys have previously done covers before. You did a cover of Machine Head. You did a cover of Mayhem. This one you did a cover of Coheed and Cambria. Well, what led to that decision?
So oddly enough, there weren't too many metal bands actually that wrote songs about aliens specifically, and we came across this really powerful and atmospheric song, the Delirium Trigger by Pete and Cambria, about aliens, specifically like the second movie. And we thought that even, like I said, thematically, it fit. It fit like the whole EP. Plus, he presented like the advantage of like further rearrangements, because every time we mess with the cover, it's not the exact replica,
Hmm.
musically speaking, of of an original song written by other bands. We always trying to, especially with such a different song from our genre, because of course, like here can be this really cool band, like progressive, softer band, and we were kind of wondering how to make it sound a lot more death metal, hideous divinity like, and
Right.
that's where Enrico, like, um, that's what he actually did with the song. He rearranged the whole structure. I mean, the structure kind of kept the same, but then he added this like piano idea that was played by French pianist Tommy Fonville, and he did an amazing job, by the way. So we literally just turned it upside down and had it all like a sound trademark, and because I would say like technically it got so many like I'm talking about the original song. It got so many open riffs that like open up like so many possibilities of further rearrangement and rewriting kind of. And I think the band also like posted it on Twitter, kind of showing that they appreciated our attempts of playing, of course, with our own style, one of their songs. So,
Right.
so yeah, we just wanted to transform it musically, but at the same time have play with the cover, not just like play a cover, but like mess with it a little bit, with a song that got lyrics that fit the concept of the EP. So that was the perfect choice.
No, right, yeah, like it's always a good idea, I think, when you're doing a cover on an album or something, is definitely add your own take to it and make it art. Make it's
Exactly.
just part of the art, you know. You just build on, as someone who like plays covers like for a living, like it's a different monster
Oh
altogether
yeah, of
because
course,
they
yeah.
want when you go play in front of a crowd, these kind of crowds they want you to play it like the way it sounds on the album.
Oh yeah, of course. If I go like see a Guns N' Roses like Queen's tribute band, I'm like waiting, like expecting the singer to look like them and actually sing that way. So I'm not actually like like hoping for a post rock like you know revisiting of the music. So I totally agree with you.